Welcome to the special public access program. My name is Chang. I'm the host of the Scramble Game Show, which is a regular weekly game show that has been running for almost 11 years now. And the show is broadcast over Westchester County and Putnam County. This special program, I reserved the time in May because May has one significant event, that is the school board budget vote and school board election. I have served on the Somers School Board for 2 terms, and I believe serving on school board is a very significant endeavor because school is important. Children are our future. If we do not have good school, if we do not educate our children, I think we will not have a good future. And that's the reason when I started sort of a semi-retirement, I was thinking, as a sort of workaholic person, if I do have some time, what would I spend on? I decided to spend on education. My professional background is a research scientist. I worked at IBM Research Center, and I retired after about 30 years service. And research life is very good because it challenges you always thinking. Thinking is the business, and you always learn, you always think. Now, after that, I also served as a professor for 5 years. So I can consider myself also as an educator. And I also volunteered in teaching the Mandarin language. As many know, Mandarin language is spoken by billions of people. It's one of the major languages in this globe. And I find it challenging to teach Mandarin in this country because the language is drastically different from alphabetic language. However, throughout my time of teaching Mandarin, I realized it is not so difficult actually. And I have used sort of my privilege as a learned public access program producer. I've used a studio to teach the Mandarin language. Why? Because when you use the studio, the students actually do feel sort of obligated to pay attention, and their attention span is really good within the hour during the recording. So when you teach them in the studio setting, you have the students' attention, number one. Number two, this recording is broadcast later in the public access channel. That gives the students a very, very good incentive to pay attention because they later can watch themselves on the public TV and see how they do. And that little incentive surprised me. It actually makes them very good learners. So I have been volunteering, teaching that language, and I enjoy it. I will continue to do so. When I served on school board, I also realized the school board members really is a full-time job if you really want to do well. And you have to keep sort of very close contact with the entire school. Some people sort of attend the athletic programs. Some people attend the arts performances. Some people go to functions, seminars, workshops, and PTA meetings. Now, ideally, you really should do all of that. Now, when I served on school board, I also volunteered to be sort of a after-school program teacher. After-school program is very important for kids to get some extracurricular activities. And the offer I made was based on my interests. As you know, the Scramble Game Show is a word game, math game. And I have used the Scramble games, which you know that it plays more than 30 different ways, and incorporating many games that people are familiar with, such as poker, mahjong, bridge, and so on. It's amazing I was able to incorporate these familiar game rules into a word game. Instead of just playing game, you are also learning words and math. So I offer that in our Somers School District, and I believe that it's best to offer that in elementary school between, say, second grade to fifth grade. And that's the time frame, I think, any word game, math game will really be helpful to students. Now, I offer this time to invite all school candidates for the school board to come on this public access to talk about your sort of passion, why you want to run school board. But I tell you though, this election is kind of low-key, and it's not like the November political sort of an election. School board members do not really go out campaign in the way as these other elections. But I think we should change that. We should at least use the public access channel, because this is a no-cost campaign, okay? It's free for everybody. Anybody wants to come on, I'll be happy to put you on, just like I am now doing, talking to the audience. I think it's important because, first of all, it gives you a chance to think through the whole process, to think through what are you committed to when you do the school board, okay? It is a time-consuming job, and some people even say it's a thankless job, but I think it is rewarding, okay? Because I do believe not only I care about my own kids' education, I care about all kids in the school system. And that's the reason I want to continue to serve. I want to, run for the school board again. Now, since the time reserved for this school board election is going to go to waste if no one comes on to this show, so I decided to use this little time to talk about it. And I have also invited others to talk about related issues. You might see this program along with this program. I invited a lawyer whose job is to help people to reduce taxes. And as you know, in school, the so-called statutory tax reduction is a issue, because when corporation, businesses takes a sort of grievance and reduce tax to the company, a couple of $1 million doesn't seem to be a lot. A $10 billion corporation, $2 million is very little. However, but if that is from the property tax in one town or one school district, it could mean a lot. So that's the reason I invited this lawyer to talk about the process, and I certainly gave my thoughts on, the impact that we should be aware of, and I think corporations should realize. Sometimes the PR value, the sort of goodwill with the community is worth a lot more than that $1 million, $500,000 sort of tax reduction. Because if you imagine if that tax impact would cause the school to cut budget, to reduce staff, that impact is going to be directly on children on our school system. So I used this half an hour to talk about general things, and certainly I will mention at least my school district, the Somers Central School District. We have 3 seats open and 5 candidates, okay? And I will flash on one flyer to show you who are the 5 people. Okay, and for this campaign, I made 2 pieces of sort of mail. One is this piece, I call it a flyer. I put all 5 names on because I believe it's important to let people know who are running. And it's not like other political election, win or lose. I think the school board has to work in a sort of a very collaborative way. You probably realize, you see that on the school board meetings, that generally the school board do act quite unanimously in deciding issues and so forth. That doesn't mean you always have the same opinion, okay? Here on the Somers School District, we have 5 candidates. On top, Joseph Mara, and the second one is Karen Frury, and third is George Wagner, and then Donna Rosenblum, and myself, Ife Chang. Okay, so please remember to vote on May 21st, which is Tuesday, from early morning to night. And before that, there is a candidate debate night, which is on May 13th. Is sponsored or co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters and Somers School PTA. Now, I was talking about the school board doing things in a unanimous way. Actually, we do have different opinions. We should have sometimes. And these things should be ironed out before go to sort of public meeting. There, unless something really, really you feel that you have to voice in a different sort of opposite opinion, generally the board act very harmonically, that is, to decide things in a unanimous fashion. This is definitely because some good reasons, okay? I don't think anyone wants to see a school board as they call squat type of squat team, people arguing back and forth and so forth in a public television. And how would you think, the students, the parents, and teachers, everybody, or the community, residents, watching this like, a comic show or people arguing back and forth? That doesn't seem to be a good organization, a good way of conducting school business. And that's why I think, for good reason, that the public meetings generally are pretty smooth, okay? But on the other hand, if the school board is just simply a rubber stamping organization, that's not good, definitely. In fact, some of the issues now we have, whether it's financially, whether it's in terms of a school quality, performance, achievement, and so on, it probably is because they were too much rubber stamping, okay? We definitely need to challenge our system. Challenge our system in a sense, we must raise the bar. The bar could be academically, could be in the arts and performance, and could be in athletics, could be in the children development, in many aspects. If we do not raise the bar, we will not have improvement, okay? As we know, we compare the dollars we spend on children in the United States to other countries. United States spent a lot of money per child, but yet in some of this international so-called evaluation or tests, that we do not rank very high, okay? Of course, some people still debate whether that is the only measurement or not, okay? We're not going to get into that in this particular program, but I think definitely there will be some correlation, okay? If a country spends so much money and not getting the results, then we really ought to ask ourselves, are we doing the right thing? Okay? I personally believe that we have lots of good things going for ourselves in our school system. Okay? Many other countries, even though in their test score they ranked pretty high, but they feel that the American schools give children the opportunity, encourage them to do the free thinking. They are much more emphasizing on creativity and so on and so forth. So it's very hard to say, education really is measured by dollar or cents. Well, I don't think so. Okay, but there is a correlation. Okay, that correlation must be watched. That is, if you do spend a lot of money and yet you don't feel good about it in your school, if your graduation rate is low, your kids going out to college fails, or your kids go out in career in the job market do not perform well, then there is definitely a issue with you spending so much money in the public school, and how come the outcome is so poor. So serving on the school board, it's very, very serious business. Okay, and I think people should really think very hard. Okay, personally, I have since I joined the school board, I have kept a personal website. Okay, and you can visit there, and that site is at http://www.mwsearch.com mwsearch.com/school board. Okay, now I kept that website. One reason is keep myself, constantly updated. So I have this website keeping track of all the educational issues. Some are the tax or financial issues, and some general issues about curriculum, pedagogy, and school issues in this website. And for many years, this has been kept on, and it's a very long web page, because I put in a format as one website, one page. Yet, because many years, the links I made is accumulated very, very long. So if you are interested, if you are a candidate of school board, okay, you want to brush up what's going on in the past 5-6 years, and what are the issues, and what are the sort of current events, there's one place you can visit and can easily, get updated. Now, I do believe everyone, put their name on a school board sort of a election is sincere and is serious about it. But whether they really understand the amount of time, energy required, and amount of sort of commitment required is not clear. Okay, when I served on the school board, I also served on the executive board of the Westchester Putnam School Board Association. That is, this is association serving all this Putnam and Westchester school boards. Now, in that board, in that organization, they, of course, monitor, track major issues that concerning school board. And I personally feel that is very important, including legislative actions that go into Albany and try to influence the state to be sort of a more supportive of our school district. Okay, so that's one thing. I also served on the Northern Westchester Putnam Teacher Center Policy Board. The Teacher Center is a good organization and was funded through the legislation. The funding is for school teacher development. Okay, as you know, good teachers teach good students. I mean, will make students to be, say, good students. Okay, so the development of teachers is very important. Now, the teacher center, with the fund, they use to sponsor workshops and seminars and sort of a networking among teachers to exchange experiences in teaching, pedagogy, and so on. And personally, I was flattered to be invited to be a board member, and I feel that is a very important function. So all of this certainly take up a lot of my time, okay? But as I said before, I still believe, okay, it's a very rewarding service. If you volunteer for school board, it's a good thing, okay? Now, in Somers, our population is reducing, okay? So in a sense that the sort of financially, or in terms of the financial requirement, is not as some schools that is growing in population, okay? Because if you grow, you need facilities, and as you know, capital project is very expensive, okay? And a lot nowadays, building a new school or a new facility in terms of auditorium, whatever, it's very expensive. So in a school district that it's not growing, I think it's a good opportunity for us to focus on how do we raise our bar to make the education much more fruitful, okay? So I hope I'm not boring you in this half an hour, and I'm not really in a sense of campaigning, because I feel that you ought to know all those 5 people's names, go, Google things and attend the debate, and then make your selection. And I hope that process will make whatever the end result, people elected, be a good group of people, okay? And another thing about the School Board Association, which I serve as an executive board member, they provide service to train the new school board members. Because how do you conduct yourself as a new school board member? Believe me, it is not so trivial. I think because you'll be immediately, given lots of information, and you have to immediately jump in, okay? So in some sense that having a discussion forum like this, if we had a few school board members talk about it, it would be very helpful to people who are candidates, and helpful to people who are going to cast a vote, okay? So I think I talked long enough, and stay tuned for the specials that I have created for you, whether it's this tax surcharge program or a special history program. Stay tuned to watch, and I thank you for your time, and please remember to vote for May 21st, Tuesday. Thank you.